Okay, part of starting the cell back up is making some new electrolyte. Here's my 1,550 grams of silver from that last batch. Notice that some of it is missing. That's because I took 600 grams of the pure silver crystal from that last batch that I just harvested, and I put it into a beaker up here. And now what I'm doing is dissolving that 600 grams of pure silver crystal in this beaker with dilute nitric acid. I added the 600 grams of silver to the beaker and then put about 600 milliliters of water, distilled water on it. And then I added 300 milliliters concentrated nitric acid, put it on the heat. I'm going to add a little bit more nitric here. I'm just going to keep adding small doses of nitric acid while I heat it until I get a clear solution of silver nitrate for my silver cell electrolyte. Somebody asked about what the copper looks like in here after this reaction is done. So I'm going to reach in here with a glass rod and oh, look at that, man, that is so cool. I'm going to stir this up. I'm going to take a piece of copper out and take a look at it. Inside this beaker, there's a piece of copper. And that's what the copper looks like. As you can see, there's still some silver cementing out on it. What happens is, as the silver cements out, it traps some of the silver nitrate electrolyte solution within the cement silver, so that when I stir it up, it gets released back into the solution, and then it'll come in contact with the copper and continue to cement it out. So I'm going to leave this in here now that I've stirred it to cement out the silver out of the agitated cement silver powder. All right, this has taken about 6 hours. I've added about another 250 milliliters of nitric acid, and I've got this solution exactly where I want it. Just a little bit of undissolved silver on the bottom of the beaker. The heat off. Now what we're going to do is get in here, pull this down off of the heat, let this cool off, and then we'll filter this out and make up some electrolyte for the silver cell. All right, I've got a filter flask set up here and installed a filter in here. Now what we'll do is get the filter to seal up. Put my gloves on because that solution is still hot. Important to notice that we've got a little bit of silver left down in the bottom of our beaker. That means all the available nitric acid that we added to this has been consumed. This is the old electrolyte. It's going to have a little bit of silver in it still and some copper. I learned this trick from Gold Silver Pro on the Gold Refining Forum. He promotes the idea of adding just a little bit of copper to the electrolyte in order to promote crystal growth. A little bit of copper in with your electrolyte makes better crystals. All right, we've got everything pulled through the filter here. rinse it out real good. And the rest of the electrolyte down here, I'll add some copper to it and cement all that silver out of that electrolyte down here, and we'll run it back through the silver cell. All right, I think we can turn our hood off for now. We've got everything pulled through the filter. Now we'll take our electrolyte over here to the table where our cell is. And we'll get set up over here to restart the cell. I'm going to start with a nice clean stainless steel bowl. When my OCD kicks in, I'll sit there and clean all this silver off the inside of this bowl, and then clean it up and store it for my next batch. The electrolyte. Here's our electrolyte. It's got a little bit of copper in it. Notice the layering effect there. That's due to the different densities of the two liquids. I'm just going to pour this right on in now. Now I'll fill the cell up the rest of the way with some pure distilled water to within about 1 inch of the top of the cell there. Stir the electrolyte up real good now. Make sure we get a good mixture. This will be just a little under 600 grams of pure silver crystal from the last batch dissolved in this electrolyte. Now I'll reconnect the negative leads from the power supply. Install the cover now. I'm going to drape some paper towel over the cell so we don't get nothing down in there. These are some old anode filters. What I'm going to do now is take the filters out of these baskets. I reuse the baskets over and over and put these used filters down in this little storage container that I've designated for these used filters. There's our electrode bar. We'll reuse that. I've got my anode filter basket here. It's just a Rubbermaid food cup. I've cut the center out of the lid. I've got a Dacron filter bag for a shop vac. There's the number on it. It's got a little elastic band around the top. So what I do is I turn it inside out so that the tag and the rubber seal, I can get a bearing on where those are at. And then I just use a paper towel tube here, shove it down into the bottom so we get a good fit inside there. And then I use my chin to hold it in place and fit the cover, this little ring down around it to hold it firmly in the cup, like so. All right, next we'll take a sharp razor blade and trim off all of the excess material here. I just cut it away all the way around underneath the lip of the retainer lid that I put on there. And there we have our prepared filter basket. Now we can put a charge of our impure silver shot in here. Just fill it up. This is about 99% pure silver from the cement silver that we melted. Fill it up. Now we can add the electrode bar here, and then we'll put it into the cell here. And submerge it in the electrolyte. And now what I'll do is connect the positive lead to the electrode bar here on top of the impure silver shot. All right, we're all set. All right, I always place a small paper cover over the opening here in the front. And then if you look up here at the power supply, I'm going to turn this on now. And we want to run it at about 3.5 volts. We can zip it up to 3.7 if we want to go a little faster, but I think 3.8 is the limit. You don't want to go over 3.8 with this, or you'll start forming undesirable stuff in the cell. All right, silver cell is back up and running. The cell has been running for about half an hour now. I just wanted to come out and give you a quick peek in here. You can see the silver crystals already starting to form on the inside of the stainless steel bowl there. And as I pointed out before, what happens is the electric current passes through the electrode bar into the silver shot. The silver shot dissolves and the silver ions pass through the Dacron filter bag. Any other precious metals that are not soluble in nitric will remain in the Dacron filter bag, and we can recover those later on. The silver ions pass through the electrolyte there and then start plating out as pure silver metal on the inside of our stainless steel bowl. The stainless steel bowl is our cathode for this cell. All right, that'll conclude the video. Thanks for watching.